Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited for today's video because we are doing our April TBR. For April, I did set aside a stack of books that I really am committed to reading this month. One of them is or actually two of them are a carryover for books that I don't think I'm going to get the chance to finish in March. So those will probably be at the top of my list. And then the other ones are just ones that I really want to read. I'm not going to lie, all of these books are thick. So we'll see how many I actually get through, but I think it's going to be a good month. So without further ado, let's get through. Okay, so this first one was Yellowface. Yellowface was a book that I had actually set out to read in March, but like I said, my February reading kind of spilled over a little bit into March, so it put me behind in terms of the books that I wanted to get done for March. So this one was one of the ones that I wanted to get done this month. But I'm hoping that that April will be the month that we finally read this. Been hearing so many good things about this book. Yellowface is about two authors who are considered like rising stars, like prodigies in the world of publishing. They're supposed to be these very, talented authors, and people have high expectations and expect great things for them. One of the authors is a white woman. Her name is June. And then the other one is, I believe, a Chinese American, and her name is Athena. Athena lives up to expectations. June, however, does not. And essentially the book follows June after a tragic accident happens where Athena passes away. And June uses that as her opportunity to kind of salvage her failing career by taking Athena's final manuscript, which is about Chinese workers during World War II. So it's very centered to her culture. But she decided to take that manuscript, adopt a Chinese American alias, and essentially pose as the author of Athena's final work. So the book follows like all of the unintended consequences, and then the fact that June has to like keep up this ruse and pretending to basically be like a Rachel Dolezal while she's pretending to, pose her work off as Athena. And I think that's such an interesting concept that you're getting to follow the villain in this book versus like the heroine. And I just want to see all of the hopefully horrible things that happen to June for stealing this woman's work. So very excited to read this. I've heard nothing but good things about this. I know there's a lot of dark humor in this one. I love dark humor. I love dry humor. So I'm very excited to read this one. I am committing myself to reading this for April. The next one is also a really popular book that I've been hearing a ton about, and that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I'm very excited to read this one. So for those who don't know, this one follows, essentially it starts off with one guy who essentially is trying to pull off like the heist of the century. So he pulls together like this ragtag group of thieves and miscreants that also happen to have like supernatural abilities, and they all have unique and different supernatural abilities. And it follows this group as they try to pull off the heist of a lifetime. Looking forward to this one for sure. Okay, my next book. I don't know if it's just because of like the state of the world right now, or actually I can't even say that. Maybe. I don't know if it's because of the state of the world right now, but like I've been in my bag when it comes to like dystopian books. Earlier this year, I read Ready Player One. Part of my February/March was actually the book that spilled over into March for me. For my February reads was Parable of the Sower. So I think I'm just kind of like in the mood for just, I don't know, is that morbid? That I'm like reading all of these dystopian books while the world is currently crumbling. That's dark. But anyway, that book is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Again, another one of those super popular books. It's kind of all over the place right now. But I'm really excited to read this one. I don't know much about it. I feel like that's kind of like the intention behind it. Like every recap or like anytime I've seen a booktuber talk about this book, they just talk about how good it is. Like I know it's a dystopian future type of book where his wife gets taken and I think he has to like save his son, but you don't really know anything beyond that. And I think the lack of detail and information that people are able to give away in this book is what intrigues me the most, because I keep hearing like if I tell you too much, it's going to give away a lot in the book, like give away too much about what's going on. So you really just have to read it. And that is so intriguing to me. Actually, I'll just read you what's on the back to show you that the description or like going into this is so bare bones. but everyone is so intrigued by this book. His wife taken, his people enslaved. Driven by a longing for justice and the memory of lost love, Darrow will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if he must become one of them to do so. Like, what does that even mean? Like, I know what it means, but his people enslaved, his wife taken. Where are we? Like, what do you mean he has to become a bad guy? Like, I'm so intrigued. I have more questions. I have so many questions. And then everyone keeps saying it's like reminiscent of Hunger Games and Game of Thrones. Like, you're telling me this is like cutthroat like that? Like, I just feel like I'm gonna be in for like such a good ride with this one. I'm so excited. So this one is definitely going to like the top of the queue for me. I'm just so excited for this, guys. All right. So the next book, this is a book I actually just got like 2 days ago. So this one is called Vicious, again by V.E. Schwab. I don't know if you've seen the Netflix series Arcane. And I can't remember the two guys' names. I'm so mad at myself that I can't remember their names. But the two guys from Arcane, the one who was like the scientist, and then the other one who was also like a scientist but ended up becoming like a mayor or something. Do you know the guys I'm talking about? But that is like a dark academia type of vibe. And just reading the synopsis of this, like, I don't know why, but those two guys kind of came to mind just based off what I read on the back. So I'm going to read you the back so that anybody who has read this book and is like, she doesn't know what the heck she's talking about, I'm going to tell you why this is what came to mind. Like, just because of what I read on the back of this book, because that's all I have to go from. So Victor and Eli started out. Wait, wasn't one of the guys from Arcane named Victor?
Correct.
I'm pretty sure he was. Anyway, Victor and Eli started out as college roommates, brilliant, arrogant, lonely boys who recognized the same sharpness and ambition in each other. In their senior year, a shared research interest in adrenaline, near-death experiences, and seemingly supernatural events reveals an intriguing possibility that under the right conditions, someone could develop extraordinary abilities. But when their thesis moves from academic to the experimental, things go horribly wrong. Yes, immediate yes. Sign me up. The next book that I want to read, I actually found this. My husband and I love to go thrifting, and every time I go thrifting, we always have to check out the books because you can find some of the best gems. Like, I'm talking Barnes and Noble's book, like books that Barnes and Noble's. I'm talking books that are like still on shelves in Barnes and Noble, like classics. Go thrift and find books. If you're not currently doing that, please go do it. Anyway, this was a book that I found that I got from the thrift store. I have heard it before. I believe this book was part of Oprah's book club too. But I got this book for $1.61. So when I hold it up, you're gonna see the sign, the marker from the thrift store, which I hate that they do that. Like, put it on the inside of the cover. It drives me crazy. Anyway, the the book is called A Lesson Before Dying by Ernest Gaines. Can you see that? Look at that. I got it for $1.60, and they wanted to make sure that you knew that I got it for $1.60. I gotta figure out if you guys have any tips. Any of you guys who get your books and do your book shopping at the thrift store, and your thrift store does this stupid little thing too. If you have any tips on how to get this off, because I have so many books on my bookshelf that are like ruined by this, it pisses me off. It makes me so mad. Like, oh!
I need to calm down. Everything's fine.
Amanda.
I'm an adult.
Anyway, the book is called A Lesson Before Dying. And this book is about a man. I can't remember his name. I believe his name is Jefferson, but it takes place in the 1940s. And essentially, he was at a store, and there's an altercation that happens, which leads to a shooting, and 3 people are left dead. He was the only survivor out of this altercation, so he's automatically assumed guilty and then sentenced to death. This takes place in the South, so there's that. Uh, and then while that's all happening, there's another character named Grant, which part of the reason why I bought that's also my husband's name. There's a guy named Grant who left this small town so that he could go to college. He's graduated college, and he's kind of found himself back in his hometown, teaching. And, while he's teaching, he's kind of struggling with whether or not to stay and, kind of give into the community and his role as a teacher, or to escape again the same way he did when he was in university and kind of get out of the small town life, the small town mentality in the 1940s. And in an effort to kind of persuade him to stay and kind of plant down roots, his family members convince him to go visit the man Jefferson, who was arrested for this murder, to go visit him in prison. And it just kind of follows the relationship that these two men, one who has higher education and has, seen the outside of the city and has his freedom, versus this other man who has been wrongly convicted and accused of a murder and is facing the end of his life in this small town community. To me, it definitely gives vibes of more of a heavier read. I don't know if that's exactly the vibe that I'm necessarily going for this month, but I do feel like this is one of those books where it's kind of like a vital piece of reading, just about the American condition, the Black condition, especially during this time period. So that's A Lesson Before Dying. This last book, guys. Ooh! I'm so excited to read this book, guys. And I'm honestly kind of mad at myself for being late to the party on this one. Like, I feel like this one is really up my alley too. And whatever, I know I'm late to the party, but I don't care. I'm so excited to read this book, guys. You have no idea. I'm so excited to read this book. And that is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. Legendborn follows a 16-year-old girl named Bree, whose mother passes away. And when her mother dies, she kind of decides that she wants nothing to do with her old life, her familial life. She wants nothing to do with any of it. So she goes to UNC Chapel Hill, which I love. That this is a fantasy book, but it ties into that real world aspect of like her going to UNC Chapel Hill. I think that's so cool. She goes to UNC Chapel Hill for this like high school summer program because she's using this kind of as an opportunity to, again, escape from just all of the drama and the heartache from her mom and then her family life. And while she's there, she witnesses a magical attack. And a demon tries to wipe her memory, and it doesn't work. So when the memory wipe doesn't work, the demon realizes that it's because Bree has magical abilities herself. She also realizes that this magical community had some sort of tie or involvement in her mother's death because there was a demon that was also present the night at the hospital the night that her mom died. The premise of the book is us following as Bree kind of discovers what this magical Legendborn world is. The best part about this is that Bree is a Black girl. If you couldn't tell by the cover, Bree is a Black girl. So having a Black main character set in this fantasy world, still with her ties to her family and her history. I heard there's a lot in this book too that kind of still leans itself to the Black experience in America. And I'm just so excited about that. Like, oh, this is such a needed book. It's a thick book, but it's such a needed book, and I'm very excited to read this. Yeah. Oh, forgot to mention too, apparently there's like a magical war coming. It's like Merlin and King Arthur and all the things. Like, oh, I'm just so excited to read this book, guys. I'm so excited to read this one. Those are the 6 books that I want to get for April. I think we have a really good month of reading ahead of us. I'm very excited for all of these books. I think we've got some heavy hitters in here. So it's going to be a very, very fun month of reading for us, guys. I'm super excited. With some of these books in here, I think some of them are going to be so good that I will probably do a couple of reading vlogs this month, like just kind of looking through these. Like, I definitely want to do a reading vlog on Legendborn. I want to do a reading vlog on, maybe a mini reading vlog on Red Rising. Potentially one on Six of Crows. And maybe Vicious. I think I want to maybe do a vicious reading vlog. Ooh, maybe what I'll do is I'll pick a day and do like a 24-hour readathon and make it like fantasy themed. That'll be fun. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do a fantasy themed reading vlog for the month of April, and I'll see how many of these 4, since these are the only ones that are kind of like fantasy. I know one is dystopian, but whatever. These are the ones that are like more fantasy leaning. Maybe I'll do that. I'll do a reading vlog and see how many of these 4 I can get through in 24 hours. Yes, it's happening. We're doing that. Oh, I'm so excited. Legendborn will absolutely be the first one, right? It has to be the first one. Okay, so I'm done. That's it. I've been talking a lot. Lots of really good books. Let me know which one you guys think I should read first. Let me know if you actually want to see that reading vlog for April. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that helps me out. Let me know what you want to see for my May TBR. If you want to see like a fun game or like some fun way for me to pick my May TBR. We've got all these books here, but I also have like more bookshelves and stuff upstairs and other books. So I think it'll be fun. We've got a lot to pick from. Other than that, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.